Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tasha. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I hope all is well. First of all, if you've been following and listening, I don't know what's going on with this thing. I have been recording and posting, and it's not going up until a day later. I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah, I have been recording, okay? Yesterday, the segment got cut a little short, about maybe 2 minutes or so. So I didn't get to do my outro, and I hate that. I hate that for the podcast. I hate that for the listeners. But yeah, before we get into it, the creator wanted to tell someone to stop thinking about death. Trust me, that's not my message. That's not for me. I'm not on that vibration. But there apparently is someone who tunes in who is becoming a little obsessed with death, if you will. First of all, I guess it's important to first note that you are not in control, right? We know that there are things that we can manifest. There are things that we can do in tandem with the creator to kind of like expedite things. There are certain things we can do that will put us in alignment or timelines, but this is all depending upon the creator and what it is that he wants you to experience, okay? And this goes for your life as well. I mean, think about all the people who attempt, right? They attempt suicide. If the creator doesn't want you to go, you don't go. You don't appoint yourself to death. Of course, we all have a clock that is connected to our lives. We don't get to necessarily, dictate when the alarm rings and when it stops ringing, right? You don't get to tell the creator when you're born. You don't get to tell the creator when you die. So all of those people who were successful in committing suicide have to wonder what's going on that the creator has allowed them to end their own cycle. Okay? Of course, it's a spirit, the spirit of suicide. We've addressed it before. We've gone over it. Not in much detail, but really just, I think this conversation is to get people thinking. If it were so easy, and if we were so deserving of the things that we desired, a lot of people would be dead, rich, sick, ugly, pretty, happy, tall, fat, short. Like the world would look totally different if everyone were to get what they desired. Not all of us have a strong enough relationship and understanding with the creator in the spiritual world. So a lot of things would go over your head and not make much sense if you haven't reached a particular level of enlightenment, right? So a lot of this will be attributed to just where you are in your journey. A lot of people who have these untimely deaths, they are killing themselves, they're dying before time, what we would consider before time. The creator set it up like that for a reason. And a lot of the times, there are debts that have to be paid that aren't paid, and a lot of bloodlines think that they are smart enough to get out of someone footing the bill. And there are tons of different things that can be attributed to this debt and how to pay it off. But this is exactly how a lot of different bloodlines end up in debt to begin with, okay? There is no reason to be caught up in anything, that has nothing to do with, your bloodline and advancing the bloodline and doing what the Creator wants. But we're human, right? We get caught up and distracted in this really physical place, right? Remember, you need your body for here and you need your spirit for other realms, other dimensions. So we don't have to necessarily be in, this idea or illusion, rather, that we are living life. Like, no, there are bridges. There are things that need to be crossed up, and I'm not saying cross like cursing a person. I'm saying there are certain T's that need to be crossed and I's that need to be dotted in order for anyone, and this is why a lot of people kind of get stuck. Like, you feel like you can do it and you can do this and you can do that, but because your bloodline has a debt, it has to be paid off. And some of those debts are not for some people to pay, right? The Creator will let a child die. He will let you lose everything. He will let you become sick. He will force you to have to pass on a particular spirit or energy in order for certain things to come to pass, because you have to be willing to make a sacrifice. And somewhere along the line, someone wasn't obedient. So a sacrifice has to be made. It's literally that simple. So a lot of us, we don't really have the full understanding of what the Creator wants to us, from us, and wants us to do, unless we have that relationship with Him and He can share it with us. Because some people, they know what God wants, but they don't do it. And this is where the debt starts to accrue. This is where problems start to build up in the bloodline, and things just are happening to people out of the blue. And no one can really explain it or understand what the heck is happening. You just know that, something changed along the way. And no one has to really tell you, like, God wants your attention, right? Like when a family loses a child, when there are so many unfortunate things happening to one household, right? I mean, it's karma from somewhere, whether it's something that you did that you should have done or something that you shouldn't have done. And it's usually because something didn't go how it was supposed to, how the Creator has said. And everything that the Creator says shall come to pass. It doesn't matter how long it takes. So if you are being so disobedient that the Creator's plans are being held up, or if you are allowing certain frequencies and energies to come into your energetic field and steal and drop things down that aren't supposed to be in your midst, a lot of these things happen. There are tons of ways to get yourself acclimated, and we can go on and on with that, but that would definitely take away from you having to learn. Like, what's the good in anyone knowing how to manifest if they're going to manifest things that's not godlike, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. You get tools and gifts that are based on the level of not only abundance in your bloodline, but the frequency of it. Like, you see how some people just, you're like, why do rich people keep getting rich? Because they're already in that frequency. It has nothing to do with race and color. Sure, there are things that are manipulated, and it kind of puts certain groups of people in, different situations, and it kind of makes things a little harder. But it's more to it. It's not just about, keeping poor people poor. Even though it is, that's not what this segment is about. So I don't want to go off on a tangent into that, right? This is about us learning how to put ourselves in positions spiritually, right? That will allow us to reap the benefits and to pull down the blessings that are waiting in heaven for us. A lot of people don't even know that they have so many overdue blessings, but because the Creator didn't make them the curse breaker, they're waiting on someone else to not just pass the torch, but bring the frequency that is required to shake things up. Like we talked about yesterday, some people's energies are required. They're responsible for bringing certain things into your life to cause certain chemical and chain reactions. No one is exempt from what comes along with the requirements of building a relationship with the Creator. You can't skip around it and jump around it. Of course, the Creator can give you grace for some things. There may be some things that God will make a little bit easier for you because He wants you to experience it, because He wants to increase your faith, because He wants you to have a testimony that will allow other people to draw into Him and to become closer and to kind of just get things done. Remember, we are on a schedule. It may not be a tight schedule, but nevertheless, it's still a schedule that we're on, and we need to be willing to be a bit more responsible with our duties as people, whether you are the closest to God or not, because everyone isn't so close to God, right? You have some people that they don't even know how to acknowledge the Creator. Really, honestly, some people, they don't know how to pray. They don't even know if God exists, okay? And remember, how we talked about the difference and the split in between people who are believers and those who are, like demons. And then you have all of the people in the middle, the people that are neutral, the people that can be swayed in either direction. Those are the people that the Creator wants to yoke up. Those are the people that are sitting in the ballot. We talked about that. So you have to be willing to open yourself up to what can happen as a result of being obedient. And you have to understand that that is even still a privilege to receive the blessings that comes with God. All of the wisdom and the protection and the guidance and the mercy, everything that comes with walking with God. We're warring, okay? It's a war. And the sooner you better understand that and you actually walk in that, like, okay, I'm at war. I'm a soldier. I'm in an army, and my commander is in control of everything, including when I die. You would start to move differently and behave differently and understand life differently. And it might open you up to making decisions that are more beneficial to your growth, your expansion, and just get you closer to where you're supposed to be. Why the Creator even created you in the first place. I'm sure you'll find it if you started to just tap in a bit more. None of us have like that solid, full understanding. We're all trying to figure it out. But stop thinking about that. All right, live life. But I'm going to end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all have been drinking your water. I hope y'all are eating your fruit and vegetables and sipping on your own tea because it's free. Love y'all.